Hey guys, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. Man, it's Saturday night. Tomorrow, it's week number 8 in the NFL. Of course, our Dallas Cowboys are off for the game. And let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods here. So tomorrow we will be live streaming during the Eagle game, which is a 1 o'clock kickoff. Basically, doing reaction to Philly 500 and how the Eagles are doing. You know, just kind of trolling them a little bit, having a little fun, and making sure we stay sharp because we're off this week. We don't want to, go into next week, next Monday night game, and not be ready. So we got to keep our edges and stuff sharp. But today I've been kind of in a Twitter battle with somebody who was just going on and on and on about Dak Prescott. He goes through and he's saying that, 2016, if they had benched Dak Prescott, Tony Romo would have gotten us to the Super Bowl. And I say, you know what? It's time to just stop this. Can we just stop this whole thing altogether? Because this is something I don't want to do. Understand, we were blessed to have Tony Romo. Tony Romo has all of the Dallas Cowboy records right now, basically, in passing, touchdowns, and things like that. He just does not have the rings. We were blessed to have him as an undrafted free agent to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and to keep our quarterback situation stable. Because after Troy Aikman, we had journeyman quarterbacks. We had has-beens. We had nobodies and guys that were never going to be. We had guys like Ryan Leaf and Quincy Carter and Drew Henson and Drew Bledsoe and Vinny Testaverde. I mean, we even had Randall Cunningham after he had left Philadelphia, Minnesota, and his career was over. We kept going through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And until Tony Romo took over, there was no stability. And we have to thank him for the incredible games. I mean, that game against Denver, 500 yards passing. Seeing him escape from J.J. Watt, who should have tattooed him into the ground. But it's done. It's over with. Tony Romo is not going to come out the booth ever again. He's not going to come back and play the Dallas Cowboys. And just the way that Tony Romo brought stability to our quarterback situation, Dak Prescott's done the same thing. Dak has been everything that you want on and off the field. Can we just leave it that we had a great quarterback in Tony Romo and we have one that is setting up to be a great quarterback? Can we do that instead of keep having this fight of Romosexuals and Dakites? Can we just be Cowboy fans? But see, you guys won't let this thing go. I'm trying to look at our Cowboys and feel that we are blessed that for the last 3.5 years, we've had the same quarterback who is getting better every single year. He's already been to the playoff twice. He's got his first win last year in 3 years. It was year number 5 before, or 4 or 5 before Tony Romo got his first after starting because he sat on the bench for several years. And Dak Prescott, because everybody keeps, we keep playing this saying, well, if Tony Romo had stayed healthy, but the reality is Tony Romo couldn't. Tony Romo was being injured. He went into the 2014 season after having off-season surgery, first game of the season against the 49ers, throws 3 picks. And the reason why we became a running team was because we were thinking Tony Romo can't throw the ball 25 yards downfield. And we started running the ball. And that changed the narrative on the style of team that we were. He had great years where he threw almost 5,000 yards, but we were 8-8 because we were playing games from behind. And the reality is because he got the beating that he took, because he was a gunslinger and things like that, his career just didn't last. And to say if he had come back, the reality was he was hurt going into the 2014 season. He got hurt twice in the 2015 season, got hurt in preseason, the 2016 season. So what makes you think that all of a sudden he was just going to stay healthy? And if cans and butts were nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. It's time to move on and let that go. As Bill says, you are what your record says you are. And that's the harsh reality. Like I said, I don't want to do this, but I got to at least put this stuff out here. Because currently, here's the deal. And I'm wondering if you guys that absolutely hate Dak Prescott will lose your damn mind, because right now, he's well on pace to break all of Tony Romo's Dallas Cowboy records. Yes, that is the truth. They'll say, well, Dak Prescott, he's not a gunslinger. He doesn't go down the field like Tony Romo. Well, here's the thing. We go through Tony Romo's numbers. The most yardage that Tony Romo ever threw in a season, right here. Let me bring the camera up. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. But in 2012, he threw for 4,903 yards, 28 TDs, 19 interceptions. That was the best year. That was 306 yards per game. He never any other year averaged 300 yards a game. Didn't. Right now, Dak Prescott is right behind that number at 303 for this year. Another thing you're going to look at. Yard average, 8.6, 8.1, 7.7, 8.2, 7.5, 8, 7.6, 7.2, 8.5. We have this mentality that he was a gunslinger, always throwing it deep down the field. Here's the amazing thing. Oh, but let's go through here. With that 8.5, he did that twice. Where is it? Okay. Sorry, 8.6. 65% completion percentage on that. 8.6. Right now, Dak Prescott averaging 8.9 with 70% completion percentage. And currently, if Dak Prescott plays 9 years, just 9 years, he will pass Tony Romo for yardage. That's a fact. He's already won as many playoff games as Tony Romo. And they say, well, we lost to Green Bay. If we'd had Tony Romo there because Dak was a rookie, we would have won. Just stop that. Because if we go through and we look at Tony Romo's playoff record, and this is not what I want to do, but I'm sick and tired of all this shade that is just thrown on Dak Prescott. Can't we just say Dak Prescott's a really good quarterback just like Tony Romo was? But we won't do that. What we do with Dak Prescott is we find reasons why, when the team is successful, that it's something other than Dak. When the team fails, it's because of Dak. And as I'm listening to people defending Carson Wentz, they're talking about, well, he's got the worst receiving core. Deshaun Jackson is hurt. He needs better players around him. Dak would get dinged for those. They basically would say, no, that's not an excuse. It's because he needs those guys. As Jennifer Wolf says, he needs people around him to be successful. We go through the playoffs. Tony Romo, in 6 playoff games, had 8 TDs and 2 interceptions. It's not exactly stellar. Completion percentage, look at him. 58.6, 50, 64, 68. He never had more than 2 TD passes in any playoff game. Period. In Dak Prescott's young career, going on playoffs. Let's roll on down here. Playoffs? You're talking about playoffs? In 3 games, he's got 5. He's on pace to have more than Tony. 2 interceptions. And against Aaron Rodgers, his rookie year, he had 3 TD passes, 304 yards. In a game that the Cowboys should have won, had it not been for an incredible miracle pass by Aaron Rodgers. So can we just drop this Tony Romo head and shoulders better than Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott sucks. Dudes, he's throwing for more yards per average this year than Tony Romo ever did in his career with a higher percentage. This year, he's on pace to have at least the second best season that Tony Romo would have had passing in yardage. He's ranked third as a quarterback. He's got Amari Cooper hitting that guy, and you could look around and say, well, David Carr was supposed to be, Derek Carr was supposed to be a great quarterback, was a MVP candidate and stuff. Couldn't bust a grape with Amari Cooper. But take a look what he's doing with Dak Prescott. Clearly, Dak's doing something that Derek Carr wasn't doing. And I know what'll happen is, because this is what drives me crazy, is one of the arguments this guy threw was, well, Tony Romo never had a defense. He never had a team around him. Dude, know your history. In 2007, when we were 13-3, had a bye, had a home field advantage. This is the Pro Bowl list that we had. Flozell Adams, tackle. Marion Barber, running back. Leonard Davis, guard. Greg Ellis, linebacker. Nick Foles, kicker. Andre Garrard, center. Kim Hamlin, free safety. Terrence Newman, cornerback. Terrell Owens, wide receiver. Tony Romo, of course. DeMarcus Ware, linebacker. Roy Williams, strong safety. Jason Witten, tight end. That was young Jason Witten, mind you. And all pros, T.O., DeMarcus Ware, Jason Witten, and Flozell Adams. That is an NFL record for Pro Bowlers on one team. To say that, well, he never had a team around him is bullshit. Okay? It just is. I guess the next argument will be as well, yeah, because I keep hearing, well, if Tony Romo had the team that Dak has and that offensive line, then, we would be winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. Dude, Flozell Adams, Leonard Davis, Andre Garrard. You had 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, just like we have now. 3. You had a Pro Bowl, 2 All-Pros and a tight end, and a wide receiver. How much more do you need? I just don't correlate why we have to keep trying to put one above the other. Listen, the Dallas Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl in a long time. I will not put it on just the quarterback. It's been a team concept. We've had good defenses and bad defenses. We've had bad calls that have gone our way. There's a whole lot more things beyond Tony Romo being the reason why we weren't going to the Super Bowl, or Dak Prescott. But it's time to come together, drop this Dak versus Romo shit, and be a Dallas Cowboy fan. And appreciate the fact that you're not the Cleveland Browns that have drafted a quarterback every freaking other year in the first round and he's a bum. Or to be the Washington Redskins to draft, RG3 and give up 3 number 1s and a second and have him only have 1 good year, turn around and have a Kirk Cousins and leave and everything else, to end up going through and paying a boatload of money to an Alex Smith, only to have him break his leg and basically never play again, and bring in a Case Keenum to draft another guy in the first round and still not have a freaking quarterback. We're sitting here arguing about, Tony Romo coming back when there are teams like Denver that haven't had a quarterback since Peyton Manning retired. Teams that have drafted guys like Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston that are now like, these weren't the guys. What are we going to do? It's freaking ridiculous how some of you guys are just so damn spoiled. Get over it. Instead of enjoying what you've got in front of you, you're just bitter and ugly. Let it go. I mean, I hate to have nights like this, but it drives me freaking crazy. Tony Romo, great quarterback. Dak Prescott, great quarterback. Be happy that you have both. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I'll see you guys later.